Question number 3, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister and asks, does he stand by any of his statements last week about the Gwyn report and about his relationship with Cameron Slater?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes.
yes.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Does he stand by his statement that he, quote, did not mislead people, end quote, when he said Cameron Slater, quote, sent me a text one time and I can't remember when it was, end quote, given they had exchanged texts the evening before?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes.
Supplementary.
Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Why has he maintained a political relationship with Cameron Slater since the release of Dirty Politics?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, for the most part, I think I've made the point I haven't had a proactive relationship with him.
Supplementary.
Order. Order. The Leader of the Opposition wants to ask a further supplementary question. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. In light of Bill English's statement that dirty politics, quote, isn't the style of politics I participate in, end quotes, why does he think Mr English is distancing himself from the Prime Minister's style of politics?
Right Honourable Prime
Speaker,
Minister.
I think Mr English is quite correct. We don't undertake that on this side of the House, but if I could just take a moment to catalogue the long list from the left, shall we start with the H fee, or should we go to some of the other actions that we've seen, like Phil Goff leaking reports to try and get a better spin, or should we go through to the person from the Labour Party
Order. I don't think the answer is actually going to help the order of the House.
Supplementary.
Order.
That was hopeless.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Why does he delete records of his text conversations with Cameron Slater? Is it standard practice to delete records of his smear machine, as revealed in both the Gwyn and Chisholm reports?
Mr Speaker,
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I do, on an ongoing basis, delete all of my text messages. I do that for very good reason, because amongst everything else, it would clog up my phone, but for security reasons if I lost my phone.
Rubbish.
Supplementary.
Rubbish.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
In light of his statements this morning that he has nothing to fear from Cameron Slater releasing their communications, will he now request that Mr Slater release those records?
Don't be stupid.
Right Honourable
Mr
Prime
Speaker,
Minister.
no.
Supplementary.
Order. Now I've got trouble with noise from my right-hand side as Mr Little attempts to ask his supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Thank you,
Order.
Mr Speaker. Why, a week on from the Inspector General's report, has it taken this long for the Prime Minister to admit his true political relationship with Cameron Slater, and why won't he just front up and tell New Zealanders straight what he's been up to in his office?
Order.
Mr Speaker,
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
I have been clear, as I said last week, it isn't a proactive relationship. But Mr Speaker, look, if the member obviously has real issues with it, and so here's a little question for him. Has he made it quite clear to some members of his caucus? Has he made it quite clear to his acting Chief of Staff? Has he made it quite clear to all members of the Labour Party that they should have no contact with Mr Slater? And can he answer this question? When was the last time that they did?
Order. Only if I call the honourable member to do so. Question number 4, Right Honourable Winston.